have a certain amount in my bank, and then till then I should just put my head down and just work and slog. But that is not what money is what I realize right now. I had unsuccessful attempts at understanding financial literacy on my own. I listen to podcasts, I listen to people giving you advice on videos, but about Spring Money, I felt they are giving us this guardianship in terms of finance. And this is very important. Rather than focusing, we are always telling people and teaching mannerisms, habits. What about financial habits? There was this trend that I'd seen people follow that now I'm a postgraduate. So within 1 year, I need to have a car. I need to manage my consultation. Okay, let the EMI be to a certain range. I can afford that. I'll keep the EMIs going. I need to have a good phone. I need to do this. Is there a need for that? I mean, does this define you as a person? So after, I'll be very honest that the husband is always right when it comes to financial literacy, financial management, and I could have done it better, and now I feel we have done it better.
Hello friends, once again we are here with another customer story who has transformed their personal finance management towards the new heights. Today, we have Arnav and Kaumudi. Arnav is an IT professional and Kaumudi is an endodontist. This is a couple who has entered into a very new parenthood, and we are going to talk with them to see how they have transformed their journey from the financial literacy towards the wealth creation. Yes, welcome Arnav, welcome Kaumudi.
Thank you.
Great to have you here.
Pleasure.
So definitely would love to understand a little bit background about yourselves. Born and brought up where? How did you meet each other? That's a very interesting story. And how have you come to know about Spring Money? Yeah, over to you Arnav. Yes.
So I am Arnav. I have been IT professional for past 7 years now, and born and brought up in Pune. What we say, hardcore Punekar is what I can tell about myself. And I love trekking as well as I love watching, also playing, but right now I'm a bit handicapped, so watching football live.
And I'm Kaumudi. I'm an endodontist, which means I'm a root canal specialist in late term, and I was born and brought up in Pune, and I had a lot of hobbies which are on hold right now. Right from playing basketball and even learning Kathak. Not trekking as much as Arnav does. Slightly, I'm scared of going into the wilderness, as you tell it. But overall, I've been more into playing, watching theatre, reading books. And then there is dentistry. So that's it.
No, fantastic. I think so. The beauty thing about I think both of you as a couple is you both come from a very diverse backgrounds as a profession, definitely. And I'm very sure in that you must have understood that finance is also one of those professions. And in that journey, so how were you managing your own finances? I think definitely you can spend a little bit time on before getting Agastya, your son, as well as definitely after Agastya, and what has transformed that journey into getting this professional advice?
So thankfully, when I had started my job, we had a good discussion in our family with my father about how to manage my own finances, and he was a go-to guy for me for knowing in which mutual funds should I invest. Luckily, in our earlier generation, I think by that standards, he was very much into no, you should invest into mutual funds and should not look more into real estate because that is easier way to start your investment. So I had started investing some amount, but very little amount. After that, I had taken a break. So all my savings were utilized for the preparation that I was doing for competitive exams. And then again after 4 years, I joined the company, and then again I started with investing. But as there was a gap, there was very small amount to manage, but I was still investing some 5-10,000 rupees per month. The things changed when we decided to get married, and then the responsibilities started coming. So the first one was the marriage. We wanted to do expenditure from our own pockets as far as possible. So again, their savings were utilized, all the investments were utilized, and then again after that, married journey started. So that's how I was managing it. And for last 1.5 years, I started again investing heavily into mutual funds only.
Definitely.
And yeah, so till now that's how I manage. Most of my money is in mutual funds and little bit in stocks.
Okay.
For me, financial literacy came quite late in life. I as much as I remember, after my post graduation, then it hit me hard that all these years we had been trained. There was a certain blueprint in the family that it was an indirect blueprint. Nobody used to sit and talk that this is how we're managing expenses, but it used to be a general, a broader term that either something is too expensive or something is cheap, or we need to put this money aside for the future. So if you precisely describe it, it was quite vague. And another thing is, because I come from a fraternity where you study, you put in your hours into studying and academic knowledge and all of that, it is so easy to just not ignore maybe, but you don't realize that you're not focusing on the broader picture, which is you have to collaborate your occupation, which is me. So although I am a doctor, I am also an entrepreneur. So this fact hit me hard when I had to, I'm registering for my license, and then I'm thinking about my finances. Okay, I have to start earning now. Earning is one part where it is quite clear what I have to do. But after I get the money in my hand, it is not just recovering what I've put into my education or paying back my parents or supporting them, but it's such a whole together a different universe in this. So I was lost. So I used to pick up cues from people saying that okay, there is fixed deposit, recurring deposit, such lay terms that are taught in school, but again they just exist like they do, like all other topics exist. They were just one kind of subject that elders take care of finances. We'll get there as and when we get there. And one fine day I feel like okay fine, now I'm old enough, what do I do? Is it just putting your money away in the bank? Is it just asking yourself that or maybe preaching yourself when I'll be 50, then I'll have a certain amount in my bank, and then till then I should just put my head down and just work and slog? But that is not what money is what I realize right now. So after, I'll be very honest that the husband is always right when it comes to financial literacy, financial management. Not that I am on the receiving end, but usually his guidance and this is what his thought was when we came together. We married, and then thereafter he felt that I should be an equal partner in terms of, rather than being a passive partner, he would discuss with me, do you know certain things, have you read about this? He would suggest me podcasts about the outlook of people on money, regarding money. So, and when he came across a certain thing that rather than just doing what people have been doing generation after generation, is that there's a bank, then there are mutual funds, and you keep away your money. Rather than that, how do you perceive money? How do you perceive your life being altered by money? It's very important, but also you cannot cross a certain limit. I think it's a rope walk. If you get it too stringent, you forget everything else. Maybe you also ignore your family in terms of time and all. You will think that this is the only time I can earn money. To a certain extent, that is right, but most of the time we get lost after what we do with it.
Definitely.
Either we give in to the whims that I've been stringent on my pocket. When I was in college, I used to have a 5 rupee vada pav, and I have dreamt that I'll go into JW Marriott. I will not look on the right side of the menu. And you just blow away the money, and then you're like, okay, I have to win it back again.
No, definitely.
I have, and another thing when it comes to my profession, the first thing that comes in it is I keep investing back in business. That one thing I do know of. That if I want to earn more money, I have to keep myself updated. But yeah, you are looking at a completely illiterate financial gada.
No, but it's completely okay, I think.
Acknowledging that and then deciding to myself that I will venture into this thing with Arnav by my side. I then understood that just stowing away money is not the entire thing.
Yes.
Valuing it and planning it in every aspect. So about spring money, I would, before you ask me anything, I would give you a feedback that this is the first time somebody told me, what is your milestone? Would you keep something away? Not medical insurance, nothing for your kid, education, even foreign travel, but something that you've wished for. Maybe some project, maybe something after 40 that you've decided. Wouldn't you keep your hard-earned money and you value it in that way also? You value life. So all things said and done, Arnav's decision has been always right. We'll debate about other issues sometime later. But this issue is where I hands down acknowledge that he takes the right step, and I'm still learning. And
No, it's a great journey, I think, as you both maybe mentioned, from a stage where money becomes a very overwhelming subject, because as you grow old and as you venture into your own kind of ideas, kind of dreams, then the reality hits you hard that, oh, now I have to take care of my money also. Something that happened with you. Maybe he was very proactive about that. And I think societally also that has happened a lot, that typically men are told from a very young age that you have to take care. But of course the era has now completely shifted, where both the people in the marriage have to take care of the family entirely. So I think this is a great thing, that from overwhelming to making sure now that you have a plan in hand. That's a quite bit of journey, I would say, wherein you feel a lot of more confidence, right?
Informed decisions, and you get
Absolutely.
the comfort that we might not be in control always,
Yeah.
but it does give you some sense of relief that yes, there's some plan at hand and it keeps
Absolutely.
modifying.
No, I think fantastic. That journey explains quite a bit about how you arrived at getting the financial plan from Spring Money. But now venturing into the next topic, which is, while doing that planning, definitely there would have been some instances where you would have realized that, Arey yaar, I used to think about this topic very differently before this instance, and now because of some expert who is again accredited, who is from SEBI, who has a stamp of SEBI, is telling me some different knowledge, because of which I need to change my perspective. And I'm very sure some of those incidences must have happened in that phase. So would you like to share a little bit or a couple of instances like that which happened in this duration of doing that financial planning?
I would just like to add to previous one. So before, so it was, I think, gradual journey and very natural one for me to come to a SEBI registered investment advisor. So because when we decided to buy a house, we recently bought a house 1 year ago. But when we started doing that, and when the loan amount, and I started reading more about home loans and how those loans get repaid. So that's when I started, and how can I repay that loan faster, or is it prudent to repay the loan faster, or you invest that corpus into some asset which will give you more than what you are paying loan on
As an interest, yeah.
So it started with going to influencers YouTube videos, looking at those, thinking on them, not just taking it on a face value, but thinking on my own as well. Apart from that, also the second one started with the trend, that FIRE trend, that financially independent and retire early and all those things. So I was also always for last 1.5 years, I was very proactive in looking what I can do differently to make my money work for me, not the other way around. And then I stumbled upon something called as SEBI registered investment advisors, and I think that was the time when I decided ki let us try it, because there was MFDs. I was anyways investing in direct funds, but why RIAs appealed to me was there is no vested interest for RIA to give me some advice which is beneficial for RIA and not that much for me. And when I'm talking about me is us. Always. So that is why I decided to go forward with it. And as you said, with the assurity of SEBI compliance, I know that my financial data that I am sharing, which is very personal, is in the right hands. That will not be misused, or I can go to advisor with any query that I have regarding financial advice. So it's as good as you have a legal counsel on retainer, and you can go and ask him or her anything that you want to have legal counsel about. Definitely. So same thing with financial advice. So that is why we decided to try it.
Definitely. Now on the front of when you started off with your financial planning journey, I'm very sure you would have also felt quite overwhelmed by the data that they are asking, by the things that they are asking, by the clarity of the goals that you need to give it, right? And I think for everyone that is true, right? For every age group, because we have not definitely thought about our goals so deeply. How much is my goal amount? What the inflation is going to do for that goal? What is the priority of those goals? Some goals we may not be able to prioritize considering the current financial situations. So in that journey, what were those couple of insights? And also I think in terms of products also, some of the products that you might have realized that they had some different features than what you might have thought about it. So what were those couple of insights that both of you definitely arrived at or got it from the financial advisor that you would like to share in that journey?
So previously when I said that I sensed a broader picture, this thing captivated me was the questions that were asked. And questions are very important because it tells you the areas where you've not even planned or given any thought about it. So even if you do not have an answer then and there, that is what the advisor that's how they support us. So in terms of the age of retirement, how do I want to upscale my business, at what point of time, how much amount of investment I am looking at, and rather than the usual emergency emergency situations where you need to stock up, but the point I'm trying to make is rather than all the usual things what we keep them for what we keep the money aside, they were also focusing on the steps and how every level, how do you need to reach every level. It is not going to be slogging, putting your neck down, but just eyes focused, have your mind focused on which direction do you want to go. Although the advisor did suggest us certain things, but that made us sure, because they asked us certain leading questions, that made us sure that we do not want certain things to be taken into the plan. For example, planning foreign university education for a kid, or maybe that made us sure what exactly, how do we need to go in the further direction.
Yeah,
I think there were three things that made this initial overwhelming data entry and all those calls worthwhile. I think there were 2-3 things. One is it was a comprehensive financial look at your personal life. So when you just invest, there is very small part of your financial life, the investment. The other part that she said, do you have ensured that any calamity may not hamper your financial goals, or overall you need to make some goals, and goal-based financial planning was something that actually helped us discuss more, get more clarity, as she said, between us as well, what kind of goals that we are keeping, and at the same time it makes sure that okay, even though as you said that in certain conditions you may not have finances to save for that goal, but it helps you to keep that in mind that okay, I have someone who I can fall back to when that additional amount of corpus starts coming in. You make sure that you are not spending it someplace else, rather you have that some unfinished goal of yours that you can achieve by investing that surplus amount.
Perfect.
So I think that made that initial data entry, and also that data entry helped basically, because for last 3-4 months we have been very inward looking with our finances, that whether we want to make this expense right now.
Yeah.
And I think in order to pursue your end goals and having that happiness, you can then sacrifice the smaller instant gratifications that you have, buying something or going someplace fancy for a dinner. You can sacrifice that because you know that why you are sacrificing it, not just because you are being conjuice, but you are aiming for something bigger, and that's why you are saving it. So that
No, I think it's a great point that you just ended this note on, that when you have a higher goal and when it is documented, when you have already planned for it, when it is stuck in your head, definitely you can understand that the smaller ones, the instant gratifications ones, and that actually changes your entire lifestyle or the behavior that you are going to do for next 10, 15, 20 years. And maybe that is what is going to be passed on to the next generation. And that is exceptionally important, because now if you look at it, what an advisor might have done is just completely change your perspective about how you manage money, why you are doing something. And once you put that why in the perspective, you are more focused, you have more clarity, so you are more driven by your goals rather than just money at the hand.
So just an insight that I got, a new insight that I got. So initially I was with a corporate plan of Mediclaim. So I did not look into whether I need personal Mediclaim or anything. I was just, and that was enough for me, honestly. But when I talked to a financial advisor and we discussed more about Mediclaim, that's when I got to know that you don't need a base Mediclaim policy for applying for a super top.
Yeah.
So what he suggested was amazing, that you create a medical emergency fund of around 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs, whatever you are comfortable with, and then you don't buy a base policy because premium is so high, and instead just buy a super topper which is very cheaper. And especially for my parents, as they are aged around 60, we all know that Mediclaim base policy premium is so high for them. So for them also this makes more sense to have a super topper rather than because if you have a Mediclaim, even though what base policy is going to cover is that 5 lakhs, whatever you are paying premium for. If you have catered for it, then it's amazing, and it was really eye-opening for me and such. This is just one example of insight.
Yeah.
But that was very eye-opening for this whole exercise.
Definitely.
Was eye-opening for us.
No, definitely. As you, I think, put down an example wherein the advisor thought about that how best can they solve a problem rather than thinking about what can benefit them, as you started with, rather than what can benefit you as a family, and best possible solution to still take care of it. But I think definitely you went through the entire exercise as a couple. And so how would you describe your previous situation before having this entire comprehensive plan in front of you and the afterlife? I think, as you rightly mentioned, in the last 3-4 months, the perspective regarding definitely expenditure has changed, but has anything else also has changed? Your perspective about money, has it changed? Has your confidence increased? about your own financial situation and how that has transformed you into your some of the life decisions.
So Arnav will take you into the nitty-gritties and technical terms. I'll be speaking in a broader sense.
Yeah.
So if I am to give you a parallel example, so before taking financial advice and before coming to Spring Money for that, it was as if you're playing a cricket match, you have 13 players and all of the 13 players are running towards the ball. So everybody is leaving their respective position, and it's kind of, yes, it was chaotic. It was definitely chaotic because at one point of time, for me, at one point of time, I'm just looking at earning something, and then I'm just dedicated towards how can I increase my income. And then the next point of time, or the different dimension, is that I'm either a miser or I'm a spendthrift. So there's not one mean that or an average position that I could have. And then I used to think about that, yeah, this is how things are going on. When you have a certain amount of cash into your system, then you let it flow, and somewhere you need to build it up, and before it runs out, yes, obviously keep putting up that money. But then I had unsuccessful attempts at understanding financial literacy on my own. I listened to podcasts, I listened to people giving you advice on videos, but about Spring Money, I felt they are giving us this guardianship in terms of finance. And this is very important because then they're not misleading you when it comes to a podcast or other videos. They are knowledgeable people, they have their own experience, but then is it customized to your need, your personality, your life, and your overall view about how you want to handle things. A financial advisor will always put your intentions, your principles about money, and then yes, wherever it's necessary, he'll give it to you tailor-made, and that makes the job easier. So I'm not scurrying about just following one certain trend later to find out that this was completely waste of time and I could have done it better, and now I feel we have done it better.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I think I am from starting also I am very quantitative guy, and all the things that she said, one thing that helped us achieve is, if I want to achieve these goals, I need to invest this much amount per month. That's it. So I have started SIPs and I do it on my payday, so that whatever remains, then we are free to do whatever we want with that money. But nothing changes with the investment amount that we need to invest for achieving our goal. So I think that clarity that I got, that okay, for achieving goals I need to invest that much, and then I am very free.
Yeah, so it was really fabulous to see, and I think if I just have to summarize, from literally being overwhelming or on the extremes, as you rightly said, either you are spending too much or you are saving too much, and then you are losing out that happiness, and then moving on to the very quantitative aspect of that also, which again is getting highlighted by that plan. I think it is fantastic that both of you have gotten something that you both liked or you both wanted for your own personal habits of personal finance, definitely. And it is really good to see that ultimately it all boils down to the clarity, that how much clear you are, whether in terms of your goals or whether in terms of your quantitative, which is the amounts that you need to achieve those goals. And really nice to see that you both have gotten that. But I think now moving on to the next phase of it, wherein you have got that, you come from a very diverse backgrounds. But what is that one thing that you would like to suggest to someone who is an IT professional today at the age of 21, or someone who is entering into the doctors as a practice, being a self-employed, a very different paradigm, definitely what they are entering into? What would you suggest to maybe your younger self also, who is right now 21, 22 years old? And what is that couple of things that you want them to start very early? Yeah, maybe we'll start with you, Kaumudi.
I would definitely ask my younger self, or anyone who's getting ready to start a practice, maybe in the healthcare sector in general, I would ask them that academics is not the only thing that you're going to face. This is just a temporary phase, and the larger and the broader picture in life is also not just money. It is going to be a balance, and once we graduate, once we come into this position where we start earning, the most important thing is you get things clarified for yourself. Are you going to fall into peer pressure? Are you going to take up just nonsense loans for the sake of doing something? For example, there was this trend that I'd seen people follow, that now I'm a postgraduate, so within 1 year I need to have a car, I need to manage my consultation. Okay, let the EMI be to a certain range, I can afford that. I'll keep the EMIs going. I need to have a good phone. I need to do this. Is there a need for that? I mean, does this define you as a person? You chalk out that for your life. You assess yourself as a person, and then you should definitely take a professional advice rather than faltering somewhere, getting yourself into losses and repenting later on. It is always better to have someone to lay out the path for you. That will be an easier way, and you'll remember this. You'll also, rather than focusing, we are always telling people and teaching mannerisms, habits. What about financial habits? Do you make one? Do you inspire your people? Do you change certain things for their benefit? And that will be overall a good happy ending for everyone, or maybe a happy beginning as well.
So I would suggest that everyone should have basic financial literacy, and after that, if you are earning since 24 and we know that computer engineers or engineers in general get a decent amount of salary, I think the best way is to start early, as we say, as the compounding helps you. And basically there are no responsibilities as such on you, not much responsibilities. There will be some responsibilities, but after marriage or after having a kid, the responsibilities grow exponentially. So I think as much as possible you try and save as much as you do. And also mediclaims are cheaper, life insurance premiums are cheaper when you start early. So you don't, I didn't have that clarity, even though I was investing, but I did not have clarity that life insurance is important. So I did not do that at the early stage where premiums were very low. Same thing with mediclaims. So I think you start early, and as she said, I would definitely recommend having someone, some advisor which gives you advice, because then that advisor will help you to remove emotion from your finances, and that helps you to have a better financial life for you.
I would just like to add, in the perspective of a parent, you usually hear, "Arey, kharcha badh gaya bhai." Yes, that is one part of life, but financial advisor is going to help you manage the responsibility, and it's not, he or she, that financial advisor will not scare you into things. He'll not, again, he or she will not scare you, or they will guide you in terms of managing, but doing this in a very general way, as easy as living every day throughout. But as parents, they will help you understand your responsibilities, but also the benefit and the enjoyment you will have if you think about family and you incorporate that into your financial habit also.
No, I think great. As you both maybe said, that definitely start early, get a professional advice, start building your financial habits. If you have habits for everything else, why not for financial habits also? You should have them. Definitely, instead of getting it overwhelmed, an advisor maybe can help you to get it streamlined so that you can enjoy that phase of life rather than thinking too much about those instances in your life. And last but not the least, definitely start saving as much as possible. Don't spend too much. And that's something that younger generation should be able to do. And that is really great of you. So thanks a lot for talking to us, for sharing your experience, for guiding the new age people and coming from a very diverse backgrounds. I hope that it is not only the engineers or not only the doctors, but as a couple, you demonstrate a fantastic synergy in terms of creating that financial life together and a greater life together. So all the best for being wealthy, for being prosperous, and getting to all your goals with as much effort as you want to be. Sorry, as early as possible. Definitely. Okay. All the best for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. So hello friends, you just witnessed a journey of Arnav and Kaumudi. One is an engineer, one is an endodontist, and how they shifted their journey from literally being overwhelmed, confused on the extreme ends of the personal finance towards a much planned, a much clarity driven, and a much confident journey onto bringing their wealth, raising their kid into this uncertainty. And I hope that this is available for all of you. Definitely for following journey of Arnav and Kaumudi and many more people, you can visit our website as well as follow our YouTube channel on Spring Money. Thanks a lot.